couple weeks back, I called a tree removal service in our area and asked if I could be put on their list for free mulch. This year I've asked for 2 loads of free mulch. This is one. So this is going to be used in my garden, in my gardens for next year. I'm going to start preparing those, in the chicken house, pretty much everywhere I want to be more fertile, which is the whole place. I need this in the chicken house because I need a lot of carbon to offset the nitrogen that the chickens produce through their manure, because it's a really big ratio, like a tiny bit of nitrogen to a huge amount of carbon. So I'm going to fill up their chicken house with this, and it's just going to absorb all the nitrogen all year, break down, and hopefully next spring it'll be amazing compost that I can use everywhere in my gardens. For my project today, I'm going to start taking some of the slightly broken down bedding material, can't call it compost, and putting it in my garden cart. I've got 2 places where I want the compost this time. I want to put some of it on the area where my Jerusalem artichokes are going to go. I'm getting those this week. And then I want some of it to go in the food forest to feed the food forest yummy goodness. This is the place I picked for the Jerusalem artichokes to go. See my pile of mulch there? It is close-ish to the edge of the property, but not so close I think it's going to go over. It's pretty close to food forest, again, without feeling like it's going to go over. And I think this will be just a really lovely patch of pretty flowers and edible tubers and nice things for deer and pollinators to eat. I figured out if I dig out this wall closest to the bin here, then it's the easiest for me. And one of the cool things about chickens is that if I leave this area lower, they will automatically scratch some of this stuff in there to kind of level it out, and I won't have to come in quite as far, at least not yet. I'm going to be refilling this chicken coop with pine mulch now that I've got my big mulch pile up in the front of the house. But before I do that, I need to empty it all out so that I put it everywhere else in the garden, but this needs to be empty before I can add the other mulch in. I have done 8 big wheelbarrows full, and I'm about 1/10 of the way done with emptying this out. It is very hard work. It's my homestead workout. I am using mulch from the chicken house instead of the mulch from my new beautiful pine mulch pile, because I think this is going to be more nutritious, what with all of the chicken manure and the food scraps, as well as everything else that I put in there. So I'm using this instead of that because I think it's going to be better for the plants and they'll be happier. Oh, today I got my shipment of trees from St. Lawrence Nursery. It's in northern New York State, so I thought it might be okay for up here in the mountains, very high, very cold, short season. Right now I'm putting a ton of water on this gooseberry. We got gooseberries, haskaps, which are also called honeyberries, and some Bali cherry trees, which should be really good. I'm excited. Okay. If I'd have known they were going to arrive today, I would have planned a lot better. As it was, I found them around dinner time and just got them in the ground. So I dug holes in the ground. It's amazing how much of a difference a couple years makes. 7 years ago, when we first got here and we dug holes for the trees, it took like hours to dig just a handful of holes. And this time I got them done in not very long. So I dug the hole, put the roots down at the bottom of the hole with a little bit of the mycorrhizal fungi that I've been putting on everything, hoping that it'll grow better. And then I filled it back up with dirt. Now I'm going to water it really, 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 really well, and then I'm going to, oh, and I put kelp meal on also as a nutrient dense thing, which hopefully will help the trees to grow. And then I'm going to put mulch on top of them all before I'm done tonight. A lot of the trees that I planted today are up in my perennial garden, where my asparagus lives and my strawberries are going to live and the herbs live. I wanted to plant a lot of them there because I had a compost pile that I wasn't using anymore, and I especially wanted the Bali cherry to be able to go in there. Down here we have the ones that are in my forest garden. So on the southern side of it, we have the gooseberries because they're the smallest ones, and then some haskaps, and then the other cherry tree is here too. And I just tried to make sure I thought about how much sun they were going to be getting based on their full-grown height before I came in here and did too much. Excited about the Bali cherry trees because if I can get them to grow, which isn't guaranteed, this is not an easy place to grow fruit, but we could get up to 10 gallons of cherries for each tree that we plant. Bali cherry trees are self-fertile, so they don't need another one in order to pollinate, but I got 2 anyway because I wanted to make certain that, or good odds that one of them would survive up here. I got a 5-pack of haskaps from St. Lawrence Nursery. They're also called honeyberries. One of the reasons I was really excited to get these berries is because they're an extremely early variety of berry. They come well before strawberries even come, and they bloom before the last frost. So they'll be a great source for bees and native bees and other pollinators. This is a gooseberry. The gooseberry that we got 7 years ago is by far the most successful plant on our property so far. So this year we decided to go heavy in on the gooseberries and got 10 more gooseberry bushes. Hopefully they'll be very productive and happy and healthy here. As happy and healthy as the first one, or even healthier. My husband also loves gooseberries and ate them a lot when he was a kid. So that's also fun. So I put kelp meal on top of all of the trees before watering them today. Don't know if you can see, but my hands are all green. Probably can't. But I decided to go for kelp meal because it had lots of micronutrients. But I tried to do a lot of research this year on what I should put on my plants. And it seems like everybody has different ideas and reasons why they have certain things on there. And I really want my plants to survive, but I also don't want to spend hundreds of dollars in maybe not useful amendments for my soil. I don't know what I'm going to do going forward, but for this year I did the mycorrhizal fungi and the kelp meal for my plants. Alright, so now that they are watered really deeply, I want to keep that moisture in the ground, especially up here where it is so high and dry. So I'm just going to take some of the mulch that I already have around here and put it around. Not too close to the trunk, but that should keep the moisture in until it's time to water again.